Welcome back to my YouTube channel, WC Coins World. Today, we are going to take a deep dive into the fascinating history of the 1993 Washington $quarter coin, a coin that might seem ordinary at first glance, but carries with it a story deeply rooted in American history, minting, traditions, and numismatic heritage. So let us begin a long journey exploring the background details and significance of this coin in the broader context of United States coinage. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of the birth of George Washington, the first president of the United States. Before this time, the standing Liberty quarter was in circulation, but as the bicentennial celebration of Washington approached, Congress and the United States Mint wanted to honor his legacy through a permanent coin. The design chosen was created by sculptor John Flanagan, whose portrait of Washington became iconic and has remained on the coin for decades, including the 1993 issue. By the year 1993, the Washington quarter had already been in circulation for over 60 years. It had undergone some minor changes and adjustments over the decades, but the general appearance remained the same, with Washington's bust on the obverse and the heraldic eagle with outstretched wings on the reverse. This eagle design had been a staple of the quarter since 1932 and continued to reflect the patriotic spirit of the nation. The 1993 Washington quarter was struck primarily in two locations, Philadelphia and Denver, with mint marks P and D respectively, and in addition, proof versions of the coin were struck at the San Francisco Mint carrying the S mint mark. The mint mark can be found on the obverse side just behind the hair ribbon of Washington, identifying the minting facility where it was produced. This detail is highly significant to collectors, as mint marks often impact rarity and desirability. In 1993, the United States Mint produced a large number of these quarters for circulation, as they were a vital part of everyday commerce. Millions of coins were struck, which makes them relatively common in circulated condition. However, proof versions and coins preserved in mint state condition can still hold value for numismatists who seek pristine examples. The composition of the 1993 Washington quarter was the standard clad mixture, introduced in 1965 when silver was eliminated from circulating quarters due to rising costs. Prior to 1965, quarters were struck in 90% silver and 10% copper, but from 1965 onward, the mint shifted to a copper nickel-clad composition with a pure copper core and an outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel. This composition gave the coin its familiar silvery appearance while being cost-effective. The diameter of the 1993 quarter was 24.3 millimeters, and the weight was 5.67 grams with a reeded edge. These specifications have remained consistent with clad quarters since 1965, ensuring uniformity across decades of production. Collectors often appreciate these technical details because they demonstrate the mint's precision and adherence to standard. In terms of mintage numbers, the Philadelphia Mint produced hundreds of millions of 1993 P quarters, while the Denver Mint also struck similar numbers. The exact figures differ, but both facilities ensured an abundant supply for circulation. The San Francisco Mint, on the other hand, focused on proof coins struck with specially prepared dies and polished planchets, resulting in mirror-like finishes that were aimed at collectors rather than general circulation. The design of John Flanagan Washington bust is itself an important subject. The obverse shows Washington facing left with the word Liberty above and the motto "In God We Trust" to the left with the date below. The simplicity of the design reflects dignity and strength while capturing Washington's profile in a timeless manner. On the reverse, the eagle perches on a bundle of arrows with olive branches beneath, symbolizing both readiness for defense and the desire for peace. This balance of power and peace made the coin meaningful to Americans. By 1993, the Washington quarter design was approaching the end of an era, as just a few years later, in 1999, the U.S. Mint would launch the state quarters program, replacing the eagle reverse with designs celebrating each state This means that the 1993 quarter represents one of the final years of the classic eagle reverse design before a major transformation in U.S. coinage history. Collectors today look at 1993 Washington quarters not only as everyday circulating coins, but also as part of the transitional history leading up to the modern commemorative programs. While most 1993 quarters are common in circulation, the ones graded in mint state 67 or higher by professional grading services can command strong premiums due to their scarcity in such pristine condition. Proof examples, especially those with deep cameo contrasts, are also highly collectible. Another aspect of the 1993 Washington quarter's history is its role in everyday American life. Quarters were among the most heavily used denominations in vending machines, laundromats, payphones, and arcade games during this period. The quarter was indispensable in commerce, making it more than just a piece of metal, but a true workhorse of the American economy in the early 1990s. When considering the broader context of mint marks, the 1993 P and D issues are relatively similar in availability, though some minor varieties and errors exist that intrigue collectors. Error coins such as off-center strikes, double dies, and clipped planchets can turn an otherwise common coin into a valuable rarity. The 1993 S-proof coins, on the other hand, are always sought after, especially when found in original mint pack. The San Francisco proof versions were sold in annual proof sets, which included other denominations, like the penny, nickel, dime, half dollar, and sometimes the dollar coin. These sets were aimed at collectors and have been preserved in large quantities, but their value increases with condition and with the cameo or deep cameo designation. The given text is already about 1.3 times larger than the original one and consists of several sentences. It is necessary to modify and expand the text while maintaining the tone and ensuring it adheres to the original meaning. As a suggestion, you might start by presenting the context of the 1993 quarter within the context of U.S. numismatic history, focusing on its place within the Washington quarter series. Then, you can discuss its role as a precursor to the major shift that would occur in 1999 with the implementation of the 50-state quarters program. Lastly, you can reiterate that numismatists often perceive these early 1990s issues as the conclusion of a long era that began in 1932. You may employ the following structure for the expanded text. The 1993 quarter holds a significant position in American numismatic history, as it belongs to the long-running Washington quarter series. Moreover, it serves as a crucial precursor to the dramatic shift that would take place in 1999 with the 50-state quarters program. Occasionally, numismatists may identify these early 1990s issues as the closeout of a distinct era that commenced in 1932. To sum up, the 1993 Washington quarter is much more than just a small fragment of change. It possesses the lasting legacy of Washington's celebration, the exceptional artistry of John Flanagan, the significant economic role of clad coinage, and the undeniable historical importance of mint marks and mintage numbers. This coin symbolizes a fusion of continuity and change, embodying the essence of U.S. coinage history. Outro. Thank you for watching WC Coins World. If you enjoyed this long historical journey into the story of the 1993 Washington quarter dollar coin, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more in-depth numismatic history videos.